Hello, Comm 101. Welcome to my room. And today I will be giving a speech on music production, or at least the introduction to music production. And I would like to start off with a question. First, who are your top 5 favorite artists? Now, I know I'm not in physically the room with you right now, but I'll give you time to think about it. Just be thinking about it in your head. Top 5. Top 5. Could be Taylor Swift, anyone, any genre, hip hop, country, R&B, anything you're thinking of, you name it. What if I told you that your favorite musician, regardless of genre, uses a producer or are in fact a producer of themselves? A producer can be many things, but is usually the artist behind the artist, or a DJ or an artist in and of themselves. By the end of this introduction to music production, I hope to instill you a deeper understanding of what that means, as well as different career paths, educational needs, and opportunities for aspiring music producers. Which leads me to my street cred slide. I've been a professional producer for the past 3 years and have been producing, mixing, and mastering for the past 6 years. And while I can't claim to know everything about music production, I do know a fair amount at this point, and I have also done research for this speech specifically. Say that 5 times fast. I've also collaborated with a multitude of artists, and I avidly enjoy sound design, which I will be showing you guys later in this slides. So what educational needs, or what just kind of needs in general, might you need for music production? Excuse me, sorry, I'm just trying to get the camera to focus over there. I would say, and I'm not sure if you guys can read this, but a deep understanding of how your DAW works, or digital audio workstation, music theory, sound design, mixing and mastering, and a possible degree depending on what you are looking for. Now, a DAW is a digital audio workstation, which I will again be showing you guys later here and after I get over these few points. What's nice about this is it gives the individual tons of freedom to choose what they would most enjoy doing as a career in music production, sound engineering, or somewhere else in the music realm, which means more opportunities for promotion, freedom of choice, and possibly in the future getting a bachelor's in sound design. So before we move on, I would like to give you guys a little just kind of sneak peek as to what a DAW looks like, or digital audio workstation, and kind of how it feels and how it works. So what you guys are seeing on the big screen right now is, it looks like a big, basically puzzle, a bunch of puzzle pieces. And so what this is the individual sounds of a song. So some of them kind of are a little more clear than others. This one is obviously just some sound waves, and it's this is what I made just with some drums. So this is a drum set that I have just chopped up and kind of put in the song, and it sounds like this. So very simple. And then here I also have my piano chords, which I designed, and all I'm doing is literally drawing in the notes. So I can put a note here, I can put a note there, whatever. So I just made this little pattern here, and what you're seeing here is literally what we call piano roll. And you're drawing the notes in here to kind of get that sound. So it sounds something like this. And I have a couple of different effects kind of gaining that sound and that kind of fullness to it, and that weird warping sound are all effects that I've thrown on there. And then just to kind of shorten this up, because I do have to get to the other points, this is basically the finished product of what I've managed to make. I just made this for fun a couple of days ago. So anyways, that's, I wish I could go more into it and show you guys a little more in depth, but just to kind of get down the rest of everything that I'd like to show you today, that'll be all for my explanation at the moment. So moving on to opportunities and ways that you might be able to advance as a music producer, I would say collaborations with bigger producers, producing opportunities for bigger artists. If you're a newer producer without much of a reputation, You can expect from $0 to $3,500 per song. If you're considered a mid-level producer, your range increases to $3,500 to $7,000 per song. And finally, if your name carries weight in the music industry, you can receive up to $10,000 to $15,000 per song, which leads us to what you might need to get into music production. Going back to that point ever so quickly, I would like to mention that this isn't necessarily a 100% standard. So, like, if you are a beginning producer, I wouldn't expect, like, $3,500. You might make somewhere in between that, but I would just keep your expectations low and know that you might be able to reach that point sooner rather than later. But yes, take a little bit of a grain of salt with that. Which leads me to what you might need for getting into music production. According to Indeed, there isn't necessarily a fixed standard or educational requirement for becoming a music producer, but most employers look for candidates who have a bachelor's degree in music production or related field, such as music performance, music theory, or audio engineering. Which meaning that you absolutely can make a career out of music production without a bachelor's, but requires more of an understanding of promotion, mixing and mastering, and some ounce of music theory, as well as an understanding of your audience. As I am someone who's already been producing for the past 6 years, I have a pretty good understanding of music production as a whole. This doesn't mean that there isn't room for improvement, as production is a constant learning of new techniques and ways to design sound. So how much might you be able to make producing music? As Howie always says, it depends. It's very different depending on the route that you want to take. So through a label, you have the opportunity to be making $10,000 to $100,000 per song. But guys, I would say that is that's high up. You're in the music industry, you sold your soul or whatever. You're the Billie Eilish, let's say, of, the music industry at the moment. And then $200 to $2,000 independently. And that's kind of where I'm at. And I roughly make kind of somewhere in between that. I'm not going to give like a full, exact number, but it is very, very in a it depends kind of way. So a better way to think about how much a music producer makes per song is if you are producing for an artist signed to a major label like Sony or Universal. Music producers can receive an advance anywhere between $10,000 to $100,000 per song, like I was saying originally. On top of this, producers often receive royalties of between 2% and 4% for each track, which can be very lucrative if the track becomes a hit. So like I was saying, that is kind of that's the far, like, you've made it already. Now, if you're working with an independent artist, the per track advances are nowhere near these figures. Producers often charge $200 to $2,000 for one song, often with no royalties. This can include vocal recording, comping, producing, mixing, and overall structuring of the track. So you could absolutely make much more by signing on with a big label, but have far more freedom independently producing. And that's kind of the route that I've taken, is that independently producing route. And y'all, that kind of brings us to our closing statements. I hope to have instilled you with some form of understanding as to what music production is, and while the salary may not all be all that enticing, what is the amount of freedom you have to do what you would like rather than have one avenue to take. Now more than ever has it been easier to get into a medium with how little you need to actually get into it, which is basically a laptop and music production software. I kid you not, that's all you need. There's also tons of great free options for music production software out there. So if you have a heart for making music and enjoy getting into the intricate details of music production, then this might be for you. This was my introduction to music production, and I appreciate you all for listening and watching.